Welcome to Trailblazer Spotlight, where we meet the leading innovators in Web3 and Metaverse marketing and explore their stories and insights. We are chatting today with Nodo Ivanidze, founder and CEO of MetaView. This Trailblazers interview is a bit different for me than any other I have done so far, as Nodo has become a very close friend as well as a business partner. So, to be quite honest, what we were actually planning to do was for Nodo to be actually one of our first Trailblazer interviews. But as I was also involved with Nodo as an advisor to his business, I knew he was working on something new that would be really cool to include in our interview. So we decided to delay it a bit. The problem was that the new ideas just kept on coming. And so we finally said, enough is enough. And we decided to finally get on with it. Shall we finally do it?
Yes, and can't wait. Finally, it's time to do the Trailblazers. Like, finally.
Yep. Totally. So, really excited you could join us here today, Nodo. As my co host on Beyond Pixels, we get to share a lot of camera time together. And so, really looking forward to this opportunity to actually delve into your background a little bit more and MetaView's background as well. And then we'll fast forward to where you are and what you're working on right now. Sound good?
Sounds awesome.
All right, let's get into it. So, um, I met you for the very first time at the end of 2022 in Barcelona at a Web3 AI event hosted by Keen Folks. Uh, so why don't you kind of like tell our audience? I could explain it myself, but since we're doing this interview, this is your opportunity. Love to hear your side of like how we met and then how our relationship then started to progress from there.
Yes, I love this moment in our history, like how Dan and myself have met. First of all, like the conference was very important for me because it was first time I got invited to speak. Before that, I was only like applying in different conferences. So, hey guys, I'm builder in the Web3. I have the largest advertising network. But it was first time when somebody like approached me and then invited me, and I didn't have any expectations. Like maybe it's something like fake, maybe I shouldn't trust. But actually, I went there and then I met so many amazing people. It was one of the highest quality conference I could attend with its after party, pre-dinner gathering of the speakers, and then all the speakers kind of were handpicked. I was so surprised with the quality. And then Dan stood out to me. I don't know, we right away clicked with chemistry. You feel it right away when you meet people, right? And then
Yep.
as usually it happens, we went to the bar. Actually, this amazing place was organized by the conference. We drank a little bit, we start talking, and
A
then
little bit.
I said, "Oh man, like this guy is amazing. He knows so many things." And I slowly started like slowly started liking Daniel not only as a friend, but he could be as my advisor in the Web3 space, right? So I love this Barcelona moment because it changed many things, how I was operating, how I was partnering with people. And then actually it was first time in my case from the conference I found very best friend. And then actually I'm now basically living in the same city as Daniel is living, and then almost very close by with him. So it's like very interesting connections, and that's why I love going to the conferences. Every conference might have some hidden gems inside. You never know, right? So that's my story regarding the our meetup.
Not only did I meet you, but I mean, whether it's like Ben or Amy, so many other people that we had met at the event. So kudos to Keen Folks. Miguel, they put on a first class event, so it was a lot of fun. And like you said, at the end of the day, I think it changed my life in terms of what I'm doing now, and we're working and doing a lot of things together. So yeah. So anyway, so we got that out of the way now. So
Yeah.
this is how we met. So the the I would have to say it's not that long ago, right? It was like the very it was like the very end of like November, beginning of December. But I would have to say that the landscape in the Web3 space anyway has really changed a lot since then.
Oh,
Um, and I would say, has it? How would you describe like how it's changed?
first of all, I totally agree. It's changed, and then Web3 space is almost changing every month, every week. That's why we have Trailblazers now, because even we have changed according to the Web3 on the go.
Mm,
And then it was very interesting point. Like when we met, Web3 was kind of becoming in like huge hype. Lots of brands were jumping, doing activations. We were just like telling a couple of the previous examples of Starbucks embracing loyalty, and then huge money of NFTs and loyalty programs and many other stuff happening, right? And then at the same time, we were so excited, like we had huge vision regarding the Web3. Both me and you and the many people I talked, even during at this conference in 2022 in Barcelona, we had speakers coming from around the world, right? So I come from Georgia, Dan is from US, we had people from Finland and many other countries. And we everybody was on the same hype. Hey, this is gonna blow up. And then what happened? At least on the metaverse side, Web3 metaverse platforms never realized. And then on the other side, AI just took over, right? So
yes,
uh,
yes.
most of the Web3 conferences became AI conferences, and then things changed, right? We are looking at each other like after 2 months, what's happening then? Like how we ended up here. But this is cycles, right? It was my first time I went myself doing business, because I was trading before, but when you are a trader, it's the cycles. But actually, when you are building business in Web3 and you first time hit this huge cycle going down, it's so much frustrating, right? So you have all these plans. As a startup builder and founder, I was always doing 3-year financials and projections. Everything upside down. I know more like Web3 taught me that all these 3-year bullshit financials are, it's in some of the day in the Web3 space, at least bullshit, and then you never know what's happening like after 3 months. And for me, it learned me a lot. It made me tough. It made me strong, and then it gave me the best connections possible. Because during the worst times in the Web3, when prices were going down, everybody was talking about the AI. You can find the real builders and real connections, real friends, right? During the hype times, everybody becomes Web3 expert. Everybody becomes like anybody. So you cannot trust many people, right? But during the hard times, that's why I love hard times. You met one of the best partners, and then Dan can agree with me how many great people we have met after to 2022 till now, right? And the space is evolving. For me, it changed very well, even though I had some hardships, but we came out strong from those hardships, which excites me. So for me, it was pretty good changes, but overall industry is another step level. So we see more use cases of the blockchain technologies, and then nobody only believes just some hypes, like NFT collection, PFPs, and then we gone through all these like stages before, which excites me. And then now more projects are trying to find out real case solutions, and then sometimes even not mention word Web3 or
Yeah,
blockchain or
and yeah, and that's at the end of the day, it when blockchain Web3 takes
yeah,
off, it's going to be a situation where the users aren't. It's like they don't care about the tech. They just want whatever. It's an app. It's an experience. It's a something that they really love and that they want to use.
yeah,
And they don't care about. It's like when people go shopping on Amazon, they don't go like, yeah, I'm going to go on HTTPS and go shopping today, right?
yeah,
They're just going to Amazon. So
yes,
yeah, but yeah, and I think what's kind of amazing is like so many of like if we would go back to like the end of like 2022, I think half of the people who are in Web3, they're all now like AI experts, right? It's kind of funny how that happens. So,
yep,
but uh, I'm going to kind of like swerve and take you back home. You are from Georgia, as in the country,
country, yes,
uh, not the state next to Florida. Uh, so do you feel it was an advantage? So like you and I have gotten to know each other quite well, and So being from like a smaller country, and I know you were able to kind of like be
Yeah,
a big fish in a small pond or
yeah,
whatever in Georgia, but give our listeners and viewers somewhat of an idea of like what were you doing in Georgia before you kind of like got
yeah.
into, let's say, before you started like MetaView.
Yeah, so that's a great question, then, and I'm sure like some of the listeners who will be listening are coming from the small countries like myself, and then I always say that like the places you are born is kind of influencing how you go. It has pros and cons, like born in a small country. I will be explaining later, but biggest thing is that like it made me to become like tough and then believe in myself that nothing is impossible and I need to get out of this small place and dream big and then see the world outside. When you are in big country, most of the US people have not seen or even don't know where is Argentina or many other countries, right? Because
Yes.
for me it's all other 50 countries, right? So when you are in Europe, you just travel around in different countries and you have this feeling. But in US, if you at least visit like 10 other states in your life, that's cool, right? Because you visited 10 countries. And basically like there is no more, you have so much of these things happening in your country, there you have very less motivation to get out of your comfort zone and then explore what's happening outside of the world. This was like which pushed me coming from raising up in very small city. I even not raised up in the capital city of Georgia, and then imagine like Georgia is 3.5 million and then my city was like 10,000 people. It's not even city.
Ooh,
In
that's really small.
like 2 blocks in LA now I'm living. So that's kind of like small neighborhood I would grew up, and then I got lucky, and then every small country population or people always trying some programs how to get out. So I found one amazing program, and then I got lucky to be selected in to study 1 year in the California US high school in Northern California in Davis specifically, which basically I was 17 showed me like huge perspective, and then like I was even like having my mouth open like how huge this state or country was. And then this kind of like trip showed me that I can do anything even from the I'm coming from small country, nothing is impossible. That's when this kind of mindset happened to me, that if I manage to get out from my small city and be in California at 17 I can do more things. But I
Mm,
had my patriotic kind of feelings, and I went back to Georgia and started building like whatever I have seen in US. I was like basically transferring in Georgia, and then educating people, building like that. At the time, it was right now it's UGC gaming hype. It was digital media hype, Facebook, and all the others was starting. And then I was 18. I was understanding most of the things. So I had the agency, and then I
mm.
moved in like in Georgia. Like cool thing about this small country is that like many things you've seen guys in US we still didn't have at that time, right? So clubbing was getting up and many other things was going in. And then once I finished with educating brands and people, and then my agency was doing very well, like creating Facebook ads and many all this stuff, I said, okay, now I visited a couple of
So
the
you
clubs.
so you got into marketing. So that
Yeah,
was your
I got
first
into
business.
marketing. Yes.
Okay.
So overall, like I'm always been in like tech business and marketing and stuff. Only I have one side in my life where I was involved in physical businesses, which was electronic music festivals. But to give you like my biggest vision all life was that whatever I was doing, I should be making like some change either locally, regionally, or globally, right? So I was starting slow, right? So in the beginning with digital advertising, I can really say we can make huge change in Georgia, and many companies were understanding and creating Facebook pages. And then in 2014, like I took another challenge that I really wanted Georgia to become one of the best clubbing country. I don't know why. I loved parties. I was 21. I had lots of people next to me, so I was actively involved for 2 years in organizing electronic music festivals. And at the same time, I didn't forget that I was tech guy, so I created very cool website for ticket sales only for electronic music festivals and
Mm,
nightclubs. And
mm.
we had the 100% of Georgian market. It's impossible, like
Wow.
100%. Can you
Okay.
imagine? And then we had the 360,000 active users who were actively looking for different places to party. And then my biggest challenge was to teach Georgians to buy tickets pre-sale. If I'm mentioning now that I was teaching people that it's good to buy tickets in advance and then pay less. It was not in Georgia. Like people were coming on the club knocking, checking it, and then after that they were deciding to buy tickets or not,
Mm,
right?
mm.
So and then I get out of this business. That was my first exit locally in Georgia. I was very excited that I get out too much of the parties because it was taking me to another direction. And after that, I got involved again in marketing. So I ran Wi-Fi advertising software, which is still operating very successfully in Eastern European countries. I had largest SMS marketing software, which is still one of the largest one in Eastern Europe. And then I started angel investing, like investing in AI and fintech startups, advising them, and then at the same time, personally got involved into the Web3 space as an investor, and then later on as a builder. We come to 2022. So I have a very vast amount of background, which I'm always using now to connect different dots. And being myself from this small country, it's challenging, but at the same time, I love that I'm from small country, right? So I think I wouldn't be so tough, and then everything excites me so much. Like even like going to the next levels and meeting new people. And now I'm in US, right? And then I don't know where we'll be 2 years from now, maybe in Asia. But it excites me. Right? So this world is like explorable, and it's very huge. So yeah, that's my story, little story, but we can be discussing more. I know. So
Yeah, yeah. I think we'll kind of like segue next into kind of like follow that journey and now talk about how how you got what was your motivation then to start MetaView, right? But kind of getting back to what you were saying, like I grew up in Milwaukee, and I kind of figured Milwaukee was like a small city. I think it's like 700,000
yeah,
or something like that, but it's like 90 miles from Chicago. So my entire life as a kid, it's like I wanted to move to the big city, right? So it was
yes.
like, and as soon as I was out of school, boom, I moved to Chicago. So maybe not at the same scale of like what of where your head was at. You were like 10,000 people or whatever, but I know that feeling, like you want something bigger and better, right?
Yeah.
And you can start getting that feeling as actually as a young child or whatever. So anyway, so uh, your motivation for starting MetaView. Let's get into that.
Okay. So, first of all, I would say that like one big minus about this small country is that you can quickly become on the top, and then basically everything becomes very easy for you. You get well connected, and then at some point, like I was feeling starting from 2018 already, like a bit bored. Like I can get everything. I was going into my comfort zone, generating good amount of money. I was living. I was flying every month, having fun, and then but I was not going everybody, right? I always love to say, if you are the smartest one in the room, you should get out from this room because you will be going down. And then find the room where you will be the dumbest one. That's when you will be getting lots of knowledge, right?
Yep,
That's my
yep.
strategy whole my life. If I see that I'm stuck, and then I can delegate, and then I can do something not more interesting, I would say, like different. And then there was a couple of the things behind the MetaView, right? So most of my businesses were like very much into the region, and then I had kind of like regional influence. I could change like how people were connecting Wi-Fi's or many other things, or buying tickets online for the events. But I never had any idea or business which would enable me to have the global outreach. As I was mentioning, Georgia and region was already feeling too small. And then Web3 was one direction which I got involved back in 2022 as an like buying myself like things like NFTs, digital lands and stuff like that, which was enabling anybody to have the global outreach right away. You can have customers, community, friends, anybody, partners from around the globe, from every time zone, every culture. And then traditional startup lifestyle didn't give me this kind of function because you are expanding next country, it's never ending story, right? So, and then when I got involved into metaverse platforms as a landowner myself, actively and buying lands, I was thinking, okay, I love the decentraland and sandbox. They are pretty cool. Like these people
Hmm.
gonna be like doing some amazing stuff. I met a couple of the landowners. I was doing like small meetups inside my land and other people's lands. Like I love doing meetups and community buildings. I even tried to live stream the DJ from nightclub to the Decentraland, and then live stream Decentraland back to the club to showcase people like how avatars are dancing. So I was doing
Yeah,
this
yeah.
experiments, right? But there were not many monetization tools happening in this, and I was thinking, okay, I have a land, how to monetize it, right? So rather than sell it or rent it, there is no other point, right? So I used my experience from the marketing and said, okay, we've seen OH advertising as one of the first one and then longest one to survive. And then if everybody knows what's OH and billboards, let's start decentralized advertising network where landowners will be owning the billboards and will be getting like majority 95% of the revenue generated from the ads. This was the biggest motivation to bring some innovative tool and to have the global outreach and the community. And then we really reached it. We had the communities from almost every continent, mostly landowners from Decentraland and Sandbox. We were covering 95% of the traffic of both platforms. And then we got connected with like Sandbox co-founders, Decentraland. I got invited to speak. I was hanging around, having good time, enjoying, and then that's my motivation like really became reality, right? So what I wanted from MetaView it really gave me, and then what I wanted to give landowners I really gave them. In prime times all our landowners were generating good amount of money because our billboards were always sold out. But
So I
later
know
on,
I so
yeah,
so I know when we had met up in Barcelona,
yes,
MetaView at the time was the largest advertising, let's say, metaverse network, right?
yes,
And it was predominantly Sandbox and Decentraland.
yes,
Um, so I kind of know the journey as you started expanding, but can you get into so that was your starting point basically was the 3D billboard. So
yes,
uh, give us can you give us like a bit of a history of MetaView?
yes. So biggest idea behind the MetaView from the beginning, as I mentioned, was to change the way like how we do the advertising in the immersive spaces. And then I saw the potential like as back in 2009 when I was like pushing Facebook advertising, I thought, wow, now it's time like this space will be becoming another big advertising medium which people don't realize now, but maybe I can jump in because I know so many things and start building from the scratch too early.
Yep.
But even words metaverse, immersive space, anything, any words were creating huge eyeball turns on the marketing people. They didn't have any understanding about the space. So that's when we came up with billboards, right? It's so easy to explain to everybody, nothing's new. But billboards never excited me at the end of the day. And then I will be telling our story. I was always excited about this 3D and then how you can integrate into these 3D environments natively brands in a way that users even don't notice it or they enjoy or they take participation and interact with the brand. These
Right.
spaces actually gave us the interaction. Billboards are uninteractive, it's boring, but it was a start. But while starting billboards, then we got introduced to billboard owners who got our billboards into their lands. Those landowners became very nice guys who are building gamified experiences on their land to keep the traffic going for the billboards, right? And then it started very funny. And then, like, as I said, okay, if we are creating through these games traffic for the billboards, why not to try to integrate brands right away into those games, right? So that's when we started our first branded integrations with Coca-Cola and many other notable brands into the games in Decentraland and Sandbox. And then slowly from billboards, we moved out to gamified experiences like kind of inventory at some point in Decentraland and Sandbox. And if any brand wanted to come, we were telling, hey guys, like we already have these amazing games. You don't have to build anything. We can rebrand and then use the current user base. And it was very difficult in Web3 space to get the users, right? Even overall, Decentraland was having 50,000 users per month. It's very small numbers. Many people will be laughing now, but at the time we were very excited about these numbers. And 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 when we say largest, like we were largest, but at some point we were the smallest one. So that's also a very funny topic because of the traffic of those platforms. So from the billboards, we expanded to games integration, and then basically we were doing it for 1 year. But as I mentioned, traffic never grew up. and then we looked around. A couple of our brands told us, "Hey guys, like Roblox, Fortnite, Minecraft, these UGC gaming platforms are taking on." It was happening in the beginning of 2023. Actually, after then and we met, after a couple months, when I said Web3 went down, that's when Roblox and Minecraft came up, and and it was and then we said, okay, if we are having games from those people, looked at the Roblox and Fortnite, and they were doing the same, right? They had games, they had users, they were integrated brands, and then we partnered up with so many gaming studios into those space, and then created first ever gamified experiences marketplace, which was uniting both Web2 games, Web3 games, and then we had the inventory, and we know which games are good for fashion, for sport, for any type of brand, right? And
Yeah,
then
for the for the people listening in, just to simplify this, and I kind of felt like it was a genius move on your part at the time, but it was basically creating a booking.com type of
yes,
experience for brands who were looking to do branding on a 3D platform. And what you were then offering, it was like, okay, are you looking for Roblox? Are you looking for Fortnite? Are you looking for Decentraland, Sandbox, whatever? So, kind of like somebody is on booking.com. Okay, they're looking for they want to book something in New York or Barcelona or whatever. So you had the various platforms available through this marketplace, and you were the very first company to do this. So down
very,
that a little
very,
bit more.
very
So
good. I
yeah.
love like comparing to other things because yeah, this space is overall very difficult to understand at some point, but we are trying to simplify it as much as possible, right? So marketplace gave us, I think, our biggest boost in history of MetaView till now, because we got right away connected with so many people, like gaming studios and creators on the other side, and then everybody was flowing information on our side. We even didn't have to read at some point some news articles because we know what's happening in each metaverse, what hardships they have, what problems are with players. And on the other side, we were working actively with big agencies and then brands directly, like try to match the games with them and then help them choosing from the booking.com of games, right? So
Yep.
uh, if you don't know anything in hotels, you need somebody to recommend. And then slowly we became also consultants because we were one of the most independent like company in the field who didn't care like which platform we will be recommending to the brand or which games, because we were not gaming studio, right? We were not the agency, we were not tied to anybody else. And then this was so nice, like to have all this information coming all together, and then giving brands or agencies, anybody like very sincere feed advice. Hey guys, for your brand doesn't try not gonna work, but maybe we can try Roblox, right? And then I was so happy that at the end of the 2023 we've seen brands already starting like doing like integrations on the active games, because it's always like we somehow always start too early, right? So even marketplace in the beginning of 2023 was too early. In 2023 all brands were racing who will be creating best fully branded games like Walmart, Nike Land, and many others. And then we have it. Then marketplace time has come. Now brands analyze that it's very smart to partner up with active games who already have lots of players, and then don't spend huge amount of money bringing players on totally new game, right? So yeah, I think like we are sometimes like one step ahead, but it's all happens because of our MNZ community and partners, right? So and then our advisors and everybody involved. I'm very happy about the marketplace, and I'm sure we'll have a chance to talk more about it too.
Yep. We have quite a few things, but yeah, I'm that's been one of I think the most exciting things I've seen you get involved in is the marketplace, and I think that it is as relevant and probably even more relevant today than when you first
Yeah,
concepted it about a year ago. Again, there's many brands that are just looking for, okay, how can we try something without spending a huge amount of money, and your marketplace totally helps brands kind of like dip their toes into the water, get an idea of like what is you know what is this virtual immersive experience for brands and marketers. So So
Yeah.
genius from that standpoint. So I'm going to kind of, since you're a an entrepreneur, um, I think it's important for people to be aware that when you're involved with a startup, and especially a startup that is, let's say, playing in a new and emerging space, um, that in the early days that you're going to be doing a lot of testing. Like you and I were just like on a Beyond Pixels show, and we were talking with Carta, Eric Landry from Carta, and then Mitch from NASCAR, and they were kind of getting into like, okay, we were working on this game, and it's like, okay, we went this route, that didn't work, we had to kind of throw that away, and then we went this route or whatever. But when you're involved with a startup, and again, I'll reiterate that a startup in a new space,
Yes.
that sometimes you're gonna kind of like be making some mistakes. You're gonna try some experiments that work, some that and some that do work, and some that don't work. So, uh, any recommendations or stories that you might have that kind of like address this? It's like uh,
Okay.
entrepreneurs. It's not like, oh, you do this and you're successful. This is successful. It tends to be more like a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, that's very interesting topic, and I'll try to be. I love like, giving advices to the people who are just starting over or who are going the same way which we can. Right away, I always mention that people who are building startups already know, but building startup is different. But building startup in this space is way different. So I thought I was like serial entrepreneur, and then I have like 15 years experience building tech startups, but it was nothing. This even my mind was like breaking at some points because you want to plan something and then you have to change it. You want to plan something, you want to change it. Even like what problems I was going through, and probably many startup founders in this stage are going like, team gets so much like confused every time because you cannot make like long-term vision and strategies. Everything is changing, right? You are excited, like as I was mentioning, like back in 2022 in November, at the end of November, or it was beginning of December, Dan and I and everybody at the conference, we were excited about Decentral, and then many brands coming there. And then 3 months from there, we started getting excited about the Roblox. And all our team members also were excited on the Decentral. And then these quick changes are so difficult for many people to cope with because imagine like I spent how many hours putting my hours, talking, speaking, working, actually making presentations for Decentral, and then I found out that now I'm spending all this energy on the Roblox, right? On different platform. So or changing a whole idea. But everything happens for a reason, right? So you learn, you use your knowledge. And then I learned one thing that you shouldn't be disappointed if something is happening and changing. Actually, you should use these changes for your better uses. And then MetaView is a perfect example, and then everybody might be like get surprised like how we started from digital NFT billboards and how we expanded to what we are today, right? So it was amazing journey, but yeah, if you get angry and then nervous about everything, you're gonna close down business and go home. That's the idea. And then that's different. And then yeah, like if you are not able to changes and you love like some solid advices, sometimes you cannot find competitor to copy them. That's the biggest challenge, right? So in web in my case, it's like I know some startup is working nice in US, maybe I can do it in Europe. But if you are doing marketplace in the games like booking.com and then nobody has done it or nobody has done digital NFT 3D billboards, you're just guessing how it's going to turn out. You don't have the examples, right? This is the biggest challenging part, especially in this space. Like even NASCAR was mentioning, they were just guessing which gonna work, right? So, and then
Yep.
finally they found the one which really got the good traction. Same case with any idea or startup in this space.
Totally. Appreciate that advice. That's good advice. So, um, uh, at the top of the show, I had indicated that you are my co-host on Beyond Pixels, and that's really been a fun journey. So, uh, why don't you share with our audience how it got started? Uh, and uh,
Oh,
uh, and I'll go from there, but I'll let you get started with it. So.
okay, I'll start with the backstory and how we started, and then Dan will add some points. But it's also very interesting like story as our story how we met, right? So we were starting like integrating brands into those games, but we had huge hard time explaining like what actually we mean by integration into gamified experience.
Yeah, and
Even
this is mostly for the marketplace.
yes,
Yeah, the
yes.
Metaverse marketplace. Yeah.
And then even now, many listeners like when I say gamified experience, I'm sure many people, even myself, sometimes don't understand it fully. So, and then we love visuals, right? And then we looked at each other. Hey, we have all these games, and Daniel and myself, we are talking, right? Why we are not showcasing them to public so actually they see what they are getting into, right? It's not presentation, it's not video, actually showcasing actual games, right?
Yep.
And then we were thinking a lot, what should be the name? It should be Virtual World Tour, right? So it's virtual, and then we will be uh, choosing games in every Virtual World Tour, maybe from Decentraland, maybe from Roblox, maybe from Sandbox. And this was the idea: just explain our listeners and everybody what those games are, what those platforms are, and then also what was unique is that we were inviting the creators of those games, and then they were giving these presentations. We did like two versions of the world virtual world tour. It was like sometimes it was very good start, I would say. It gave us lots of learning, but at some point we understood that we could be doing way more than just virtual world tours, right? So and then virtual world tours, which was started just to showcase the gamified experiences to Metaverse possible partners or just spread the education, it became fully independent beyond pixels, one of the leading immersive media channel today existing, right? So but that's why I'm mentioning even for the media channels you should be expecting that lots of changes are coming, right? So even beyond pixels was like something different before. That's why I allow our story of beyond pixels, because everything we started just coming from the need we see. It's not like we plan 1 year ahead that like beyond pixels is coming, or oh we really need to have the like podcast happening, but actually need was coming, we jump on it and do it. So
Yep, yep, yep. And it's been fun. We have met
oh
so many really really cool people. Like I think one of our early shows was Justin Hochberg, uh, uh,
yes,
and then having Nick
Gil.
Hill, Justin Breton, and Charles Hambro on for the Walmart discovered Walmart. That was an awesome show. Like, what's been like your
Oh my god.
favorite shows, or a couple of your favorite shows?
Yeah, it's so hard. Like every month is like giving me wows and excitement, because I myself I learn a lot, and I think we are sharing great info. And then both Dan and myself are trying to like be as honest and open and positive in every show, and then pushing our guests to share as many details as possible so people can learn. It's not just like we are screaming about the hey guys, this space will be taking over everything, and then we will be like, we just try to provide the value, right? I love education sharing. And my favorite show I think was in NASCAR.
Okay.
It's last one. I love cars, I love racing, and then it was kind of personally connected to me. And then I can remember one show when we were talking a little bit of like metaverse kind of events and gatherings, which really like Roblox concerts, Fortnite concerts, and then this kind of music related activations, which
Oh, that
really
was the Webby Awards, the
yes,
Webby Award show. Yeah, yeah,
every
yeah,
award show. Yeah, it
yeah.
was
Because we
very
had
good.
because we had Super League on and Sawhorse on
And
for
then
winning. Yeah.
and then for Beyond Pixels, what became also most exciting for me is that it became like very standalone like platform with just also again it's not tied to anybody else, and it's not pushing any company's interests. We just from our hearts enjoy what we do in Beyond Pixels, and all our guests enjoy what they share with their people. That's why we have like companies who are in the same field sometimes coming together, even though they might be
And I
competition.
think again, like reiterating what you're just saying is like Beyond Pixels for us has been mostly about like education, right? Uh, Helping brands, marketers who are just getting into the space to kind of like better understand like what it's going to take to actually do their own activation, and what would the process be, right? Um, But then at AWE, we decided that, and it kind of even goes back to how you and I met, right? It's like when you meet people in real life, that's kind of like where the magic happens, right? Um, and so we decided, like, okay, we want to start doing, and I think this kind of came from your background of like doing EDM events or whatever, but we decided that we wanted to start doing some of our Beyond Pixels as IRL in real life events. So the first opportunity that we had to do this was at AWE, which was being held for the first time in Los Angeles. And it was at Long Beach. And so we ended up doing a Beyond Pixels show on a yacht.
Ooh,
And it was the first time that we had ever done the show in front of a live audience, on a yacht, and I just thought that was like so cool. I mean, I ended up like meeting some people that I'd been connected on
yeah.
in LinkedIn for maybe years, and then I met them in person, and it's like, you're actually pretty cool. It's like, yeah. So our panel included like VR chat. We had the rec room and Zepeto, so it was like a really great chat. And then we had Nick Hill and Sawhorse being a partner on that particular show. So it was awesome, and we're actually now in the process of planning our next IRL event. So, um, Nodo and I are so busy, crazy on so many things. So, Nodo has kind of like taken this and kind of run with it over the last month. So, Nick, Nick, listen to me. Uh,
No worries.
no, no. Give me an update and give our viewers an update as well. Really, kind of like keen to. I know it's on October 17th, and I know it's at like some kind of like really cool mansion in Hollywood. So,
Yeah.
over to you.
So I since we have some time, I would love to like also quickly talk about our first event because it was emotionally very exciting for me because it was just 1 month since I moved in Los Angeles and then
Mm.
the yacht party right after 1 month. Like it's for many it's unimaginable when I tell my friends like like it's Dan and I always like try to shoot huge, and all our partners and friends always like supporting in this like big dreams, right? And then it becomes reality. Like when we said yacht party, even yacht owner was not believing that we could run the panel on the yacht. But Nikhil and our partners at Sophos did amazing work, helped us a lot, like in doing all the technical work. And that's why I'm mentioning without collaborations, you cannot go anywhere. And then it turned out so perfect, right? And then I said, okay, what should we do next? And now first one was so good, like should we do next one in this space? I was just kidding. So it's kind of pushed us to the next one, and then even our first event was a logical progression of the Beyond Pixels online shows because we find out that we are having communities in so many local hotspots like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Tokyo, London, even my local country, and any city, right? So we said, okay, let's slowly bring those people together, right, and then spark more interests. And for the LA Tech Week, we were thinking, okay, we should do something next one, right? And let's do it during the LA Tech Week and have the celebration of entertainment and UGC gaming platforms because LA Tech Week is usually too much focused on the tech startups and then VC funds are making events and side events and everybody's and mostly it's not targeted towards UGC games or most of the time. And then we found one of the cool venue in Hollywood Hills, very a great mansion with lots of upscale programs. I always like what I always had in my mind for the events, how business and entertainment even should be mixing together. We will be doing in this um, show. It will be lots of people in from the entertainment industry and movie studios, gaming studios, and we're gonna be talking about how entertainment and especially kids cartoon movies and movies for teenagers are
Animated, yeah,
moving
yeah.
actively into UGC gaming, right? And then we are very excited about it. We will be sharing later on more information, website, how interested. people can get more info about it, but we will always continue doing this type of like community events, industry events, right? And then I'm very excited about it. It's taking lots of our time, but let's say it's our hobby and we love doing it. So yeah, thanks for asking me then. Like it's on the door just in less than 2 months. So
Yes, it's coming fast. It's coming fast. But no, I mean we're in LA. We're in Hollywood. We're in the land of entertainment and movie studios. So uh, doing an event that really kind of like takes advantage of that and does it right in their backyard, like right underneath the Hollywood sign or whatever, right? It makes so much sense. So
sure.
anyway, I kind of feel like we know each other so well. We could just keep talking, and when we do often, we could just like keep talking indefinitely. But uh, uh, I'm going to just decide to close it now. But one last question: anything new and exciting that you're working on? And I do this every Trailblazer uh, uh, interview that I do. This is always my last question, but it's like, what are you working on right now that you're able to talk about?
Okay. Before I share I think like right now the thing we are working with is one of the most exciting thing I was working on all of my startups or history, right? So that's how important it is. But also I want to share with listeners because while somebody listening to me, you guys might think like how you are involved in so many things, right? It's impossible. But again, I'm gonna mention amazing co-founders, great partners, team members, and then top players. That's my kind of weapon for the success, and then my weapon to be able to involve in many things, right? So alone I couldn't be doing anything, and then Daniel can agree with me. So everywhere I have the co-founders, partners, and lots of people involved. That's my strategy. How I am able to do many things, and then this one which I'm sharing, that's where I put most of my time. This is like thing. And then I forgot to mention, but I'm also like father of two amazing daughters, one and 3 year old, which gave me another boost in my life. It's my two most amazing startups I could sell, which is priceless. And then I think it's the best thing happened in my life. And I think my daughters
As a
pushed me.
father of three daughters, I
You're
share
gonna be,
that view
yeah.
100%.
You
Yes.
are richer than me. You have three, so I'm gonna be happy. But
You're
but I
still
would say,
young. You could catch
yeah,
up.
I would say like my daughters like took my brain in a different level, and then I started like actively researching and how I can give education to my kids. From which age should I start giving them devices? When I should show them YouTube cartoons, and then all the kind of research every parent is going through, right? and then and then basically my brain always tries to connect so many different dots since I was involved in many businesses. And then my daughters are loving one of the YouTube characters. They watch Giraffe Jose always, right? I even have their toys home. And then for many parents in my group also, like I saw the problem that for every parent, like biggest problem is like YouTube screen time, and especially like if we are talking YouTube educational content or cartoon based content, it's uninteractive. Like you should see how kids are like staring at them, and they get like angry, nervous. They are fighting with parents if you take the phone off. And and I was thinking like, okay, I'm now in gaming. I have kids. I know all the problems existing on both sides, and then what can I do, right? So and then we decided that let's use those YouTube favorite characters all the kids love, and then use their influence to help parents put those kids into educational games, which are matching games, getting the colors, learning alphabet, and then there is and then there are a bunch of the educational games. I'm subscribed. I throwed around 1K for many games, but it was so difficult to take my daughter from this Giraffe Jose and put her on some boring game.
And I want to make a quick point. The majority of the people listening do not know what Giraffe Joseph is. So
It's
why
just
don't you
a
explain
cartoon.
that
It's
real
just a
quick?
cartoon.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
Giraffe Jose, as I explained, is just a YouTube cartoon, which educational YouTube series, which is coming every week. And then my older daughter is loving him, and then they also have toys which is singing, and when you press
Yeah,
the button.
and this is based in Georgia,
Yeah,
your home
basically,
country. So yeah.
yes. And then Giraffe Jose in Georgia is like popular as Mickey Mouse, even more popular than Mickey Mouse in US, right? So like small kids like 3, 6 year olds are like going to the concerts, and then if you have the birthday party in US, you might bring the Mickey Mouse, right? Or somebody else from the Disney characters. In Georgia, people bring Giraffe Jose and Jose's friends like Josephina and all the others. So that's how huge it is, right? So, and then that's one of the like sparks in our mind that okay, kids favorite characters and then education, everything connected. And then now I'm very very excited that in Georgia, it's especially because I'm from Georgia, we are doing
Mhm.
it first in Georgia. For Georgian parents, our favorite Giraffe Joseph will be transferred into educational games, and then Georgian parents will
And
be able,
specifically a Roblox game.
yes, Roblox game, and
Yes.
then we connected UGC gaming too. I forgot about that part, which is easier to build the games and then easier for the parents to use for their kids. And then from September, parents in Georgia will be able to bring their kids from the YouTube to the educational games, including my daughter and many of my friends and network. Everybody is excited in Georgia. All the news outlets are ready to share this news. And I'm also very excited that I'm fully invested in early kids education because if you ask any psychologist, like influence during the age groups of 3 to 6 basically always shown up when you grow up, right? So this is the age group you should be very careful working with, and then at the same time like I feel huge responsibility, but I'm excited to share this first time publicly for the listeners. We were building it like whole 2024, and then Georgia won't be the first country who will be launching this type of educational games. We'll be launching in many other regions around the world for other parents, but as I'm from Georgia, sorry, but I'm starting from Georgia. So, yeah, then yeah, that's very exciting news, and then many people are involved around us on this idea which I shared, and then for every person, even they have kids or don't have kids, or they are planning or not planning, this is a topic which unites everybody, and then we are kind of like collaboratively pushing this forward. So yeah,
No, and in all transparency, I'm quite involved with Nodo on this project, and it's really an exciting project. Again, Nodo's got daughters, I've got daughters as well, so it's I can't wait to see
that's it.
the first games, and again, we're actually looking to get I think like 7 games. Uh, for different channels, like the Giraffe Joseph is just one, but we'll have 7 channels up and running within the next 6 months. So that's really exciting. So
Yeah,
we'll save the rest of the details for another time. But Noto, thanks so much for sharing your insights. If someone is listening and wants to contact you, how can they reach you?
they can reach me out on LinkedIn. That's where I'm more responsive. And also like Nodo Ivanidze, like you see my first name and last name here. And then I'm helpful for if you are a startup founder, if you are just starting and just want to take my advice, or if you want to collaborate with us, I'm always open for the new ideas and suggestions.
All right, cool. Noto, thanks again. Hope you have
Thank you so
yourself a
much.
great weekend. Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait for the upcoming Trailblazers, maybe next year.
Okay. Probably. All right. Cheers, man.
Cheers.